Yo, what's going on, guys? I've been doing a lot of coverage of the early deals that are live for the Steam Summer Sale. All of these deals will parlay directly into the Summer Sale when it kicks off later today, and I have all of these deals in one compilation video. Links to everything in the description box below, and these deals are going to be here for a while, and then when the sale kicks off, I'll obviously be doing all of my regular content. But enjoy, and I will catch you guys for more coverage very soon. Peace out. How is it going, everyone? There are a ton of early Steam Summer Sale game deals that are already live right now, and I am here to highlight some of the best deals under the price of $3 and $2. Yes, these are super cheap games that if you sell some of your Steam trading cards, you can end up buying them essentially for free, I guess, however you want to define that. But a lot of good stuff being discounted, and obviously there's going to be tons more once the Steam Summer Sale actually goes live. But yeah, a lot of great stuff already live right now. So let's just get right into it, and let's kick things off with, to me, a classic that is a timeless experience, and that is Castle Crashers. 90% off for $1.49, guys. Castle Crashers is an absolutely fantastic game. I usually do recommend you guys to play this game cooperatively, but a lot of people think it's enjoyable solo as well. I just think it's such a fun game when you have a group of friends to play with. But even if you don't have a group of friends that are going to play the game with you, it's very much worthwhile. For $1.49 to play it solo, I think this game's got so much charm, so much humor, pretty good soundtrack as well, and just a enjoyable game that's so much fun to go back and play. Like, Castle Crashers at this point came out, what, 14 years ago? Yeah, 14 years ago, and I still think it's a worthwhile game to go back and play because it's just a fun action brawler. For $1.49 a bargain, I highly recommend that. Then we've got Darksiders War Mastered Edition, 85% off for $2.99. Darksiders 1 is a great game. I remember when this game was coming out back in, I think it was 2010. Actually, fun fact for you guys, it came out on the same day as Bayonetta, I believe. What a wild thing, because both games were new IPs and they ended up spawning a bunch of sequels, but Bayonetta definitely the better game. But nevertheless, Darksiders, when it was coming out, there was these comparisons that, oh, this is God of War mixed with Legend of Zelda, and I always thought that set the bar way too high for Darksiders. Like, Darksiders, I can understand the comparisons to God of War and Legend of Zelda, but those are all-time great franchises. Darksiders isn't quite at that level. However, is it an enjoyable game in its own right? Yeah, the story's pretty good, the action gameplay is enjoyable, and I thought it was a fun time. And for $2.99, I think it's a great pickup that I would definitely recommend. Then we've got Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, 90% off for $2.99. Now, a lot of people will say that you should buy this game on GOG where it's a part of the preservation program. I would agree with that if you are okay with using GOG. Some people just prefer their games on Steam, which is fine. I did a playthrough of Dragon Age Origins, I want to say it was a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago. The timeline is so muddled. I think it was a year ago. Yeah, it was last summer that I did my playthrough of Dragon Age Origins on PC and Steam. I played through the Steam version. You do have to install a mod. It's very easy to install it. If I could do it, anybody could do it, and it'll be good to go. The game does not have controller support, by the way. Dragon Age Origins, with how the game was structured, very much lent its PC design to be focused on keyboard and mouse, and it plays kind of like a different game versus the console versions. It's a fantastic game. Going back and playing older BioWare games is somewhat depressing at times because it just makes you realize how washed up BioWare actually is, but man, Dragon Age Origins is still such a fantastic game, and you just know when you boot this game up and you're just listening to the menu theme, you're like, holy hell, I'm about to embark on an absolutely epic narrative journey, and it's exactly that. A lot of decision making, a lot of depth to the story and the world, and for $2.99 you get the Awakening expansion as well. Just a tremendous deal. Highly recommend that. An all-time great RPG. Then we've got the Saboteur, 80% off for $1.99. One of those games that came out in the latter stretch of the PS3 life cycle, where there was a lot of like kind of weird and out there games coming out, and I thought Saboteur was a really cool one. An open world action thriller that takes you through the seedy streets of Paris as you seek to undermine the German authority and lead a rebellion. Fight across rooftops and through dangerous alleys and operate a wide variety of vehicles as you navigate your terrain. It's 80% off for $1.99, and it's got a really cool aesthetic, a black and white look. And the darker aesthetic worked for what the game was going for. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit dated given that it did come out initially, I want to say in 2010 or 11, but still a pretty cool game to go back and play in one of those older open world games that's not as colossal of an open world that you'll get these days, but still going through these unique contained open worlds, I think is a pretty good time. So buck 99 on that. Pretty good deal there. Then we've got Alice Madness Returns, 80% off for $1.99. Another game that when it came out was beloved back in 2011, a third-person single-player action-adventure platformer. Visit the grim reality of Victorian London and travel to the beautiful yet ghastly Wonderland to uncover the roots of Alice's madness. Intense third-person action, explore a dark and shattered Wonderland, and magical abilities and interactive puzzles are noted as well. $1.99 for Alice Madness Returns. Then we've got Carrion, 90% off for $1.99. Another game at a historic low price point. Carrion is a reverse horror game in which you assume the role of an amorphous creature of unknown origin, stalking and consuming those that imprison you. Kind of interesting in design standpoint in terms of you playing as this villainous entity, so to speak, at least perceived to be the villainous entity. 90% off for $1.99 if you want an action-heavy pixel graphics title. Again, $1.99 is pretty good on that. Then we've got Narita Boy, 90% off for $2.49. Speaking of throwbacks and throwback visual styles as well, Narita Boy is exactly that. Become a symphonic in Narita Boy, a radical action adventure as legendary pixel hero trapped as a mere echo within the digital kingdom. Discover the mysteries behind the techno sword, lock swords with the corrupt and tainted stallions, and save the world. Fairly well received here as well, and if you want a throwback action adventure title with some pretty cool aesthetics, $2.49 for Narita Boy. Then we've got Hotline Miami 2, wrong number, 85% off for $2.24. Now, Hotline Miami 1 is also at a historic low price point right now. It's 99 cents. You absolutely should pick up Hotline Miami 1, but after that, play through Hotline Miami 2 as well. It is once again an over-the-top, gruesome, gory pixel graphics title. And I say gruesome and gory, it's pixel graphics, so really what does that mean at the end of the day? Awesome soundtrack, fast-paced action gameplay, and just a ton of fun, and a game that's worthwhile to go back to and play. $2.24 on that is great. Then we've got Toem, a photo adventure, 90% off for $1.99. Set off on a delightful expedition and use your photographic eye to uncover the mysteries of the magical Toem. In this hand-drawn adventure game, chat with quirky characters, solve their problems by snapping neat photos, and make your way through a relaxing landscape. Overwhelmingly positive reception on this, 3,024 reviews at 99% positive. One of the best received games you'll see from a user reception on Steam and user review standpoint, but 90% off for $1.99. Check that out as well. Then we've got an over-the-top action game, throwback visual aesthetic here as well. Broforce is 80% off for $2.99. Broforce is an action-packed, side-scrolling run-and-gun ode to freedom, putting you in the control of an underfunded, overpowered paramilitary organization dealing exclusively in excessive force. You've got 20,000 reviews on this one, 96% positive and 83 on Metacritic as well. Deliver your own brand of shock and awe with dozens of bros, each with their own unique weaponry and special attacks designed to dispatch freedom across the world. Battle terrorism with up to 4 players in cooperative mode, or sever ties with your bros and face each other in several bombastic competitive modes as well. Explosion join up with other bros to tackle these unique time attack levels under the pressure of exploiting terrains and mass chaos, and fully destructible environments, and a level editor as well. $2.99 for Broforce. Then we've got Sonic Mania, classic Sonic experience, 90% off for $1.99. Now, it's a classic Sonic experience, but it did come out somewhat recently, back in 2017, but this is very much akin to Sonic of old. You've got the classic Sonic gameplay, the ultimate celebration of past, an adventure with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles full of unique bosses, rolling 2D landscapes, and fun classic gameplay, and it brings retro fast-paced platforming into the future through pixel-perfect 2D graphics as well. So if you're looking for a classic Sonic platformer, you'll find that in Sonic Mania, $1.99 for that. Then we've got Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, 85% off for $2.99. Now, Witcher is an absolutely phenomenal franchise, as I'm sure many of you guys know, but most people have played Witcher by playing Witcher 3. Going back and playing Witcher 1, Witcher 1 is absolutely a fairly dated experience. It's still worthwhile to go back and play, and I kind of want to do a playthrough of that game before the remake eventually comes out, but we'll see if I get to that. Witcher 2, on the other hand, I still think holds up really well. it does also have controller support, although the controller support I think is a little bit janky, but it works well enough. Visually, this game still holds up, man. It still looks great, and the gameplay's enjoyable. Definitely a smaller scale than Witcher 3. It's not like a vast, big open world or anything like that, but Witcher 2 is a great game. $2.99, definitely would recommend that. Then we've got Shadow Warrior 1 and 2, 90% off for $2.99 a pop on these. Over-the-top, fast-paced, action-heavy games, blood and guts galore, and a lot of action mayhem to be had. Done by Flying Wild Hog, who are now doing the remake of Tomb Raider Legacy of the Atlantis. But yeah, Shadow Warrior, they did a great job on. $2.99 for these. Definitely a good pickup if you're looking for kind of just no-nonsense action game. Shadow Warrior will definitely be right up your alley on that. Then we've got Ruiner, 90% off for $1.99. Very well-received game with 4,600 reviews, 90% positive. A brutal action shooter set in the year 2091 in a cyber metropolis. A wired psychopath lashes out against the corrupt system to uncover the truth and retrieve his kidnapped brother under the guidance of a secretive hacker friend. Again, a pretty well-received action title. Fast-paced action gameplay here as well. Cyberpunk Arsenal equip all manner of high-tech firearms and melee weapons to ruin all that oppose you. Story-driven action and an exceptional soundtrack is noted as well. Ruiner is available for $1.99. And lastly, we do have Wreckfest, which is 90% off for $2.99. A historic low deal on this as well, and a fantastic historic low at that. A Demolition Derby-themed racing game with soft body damage modeling, sophisticated driving dynamics, and an in-depth vehicle upgrading featuring both demolition derbies and more traditional track races. It's all about fun, breakneck racing, and over-the-top crashes. If you're into mayhem-fueled driving games, this is going to be right up your alley. Really focus on the destruction, crashes, and mayhem, so keep that in mind, but a lot of fun to be had there. 90% off for $2.99 for Wreckfest. A very well-received game there, and yeah, $2.99 on that historic low offer there, and one of the best deals available thus far as a part of the early Steam game deal offerings for the summer sale. That is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of early Steam game deals live right now ahead of the summer sale going live on June the 25th. Go check out all of these deals. A lot of great stuff already, but that is going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Links to all of these deals, as always, in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video here to continue looking at some of the early Steam summer sale game deals, as there are tons and tons of stuff that is already being discounted. As always, some of the publishers and developers want to get the jump on all of the deals going live, so they've got a bunch of sales already live right now, and a lot of great stuff is already discounted. So let's just get right into it. We're highlighting deals under $5 in this video, and like I said, a ton of great stuff. And let's get started with a deal that will widely be considered the best deal in any sale that it's in, and that's Mass Effect Legendary Edition, 92% off for $4.79. One of the greatest trilogies in video game history, and honestly, you can make an argument it is the greatest trilogy in video game history. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal game, and to get all three Mass Effect titles with all of the DLC content updated, it's just a phenomenal deal. Mass Effect still holds up as one of the greatest RPG franchises of all time. Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, still one of the greatest video games of all time. You know, I often mention the pantheon of the greatest games of all time. Mass Effect 2 is absolutely in there with the, you know, Red Dead 2s and the Resident Evil 4s of the world. But yeah, the game's tremendous. Mass Effect 1 still does show its age, but it's still a worthwhile game to go through. Mass Effect 2, like I said, is tremendous. And Mass Effect 3, you know, ending aside, Mass Effect 3 is a fantastic game as well, and all three titles in this collection is just a great buy. $4.79, no-brainer there. Now let's get a little bit spicy. You know, Mass Effect Andromeda, the deluxe edition, is at a historic low price point, 92% off for $3.19. Yes, Mass Effect Andromeda isn't a game that everybody absolutely loves. In fact, a lot of people will look at Andromeda and think of it as the game that began the downfall of BioWare. However, Mass Effect Andromeda Andromeda is still a decent game. And the reality is, if you go into the game now in 2026, you're not having crazy expectations. You're not coming off the heels of the Mass Effect trilogy. You're probably just going into it expecting, hey, I hear people crap on the game all the time. Let's see if there's anything notable about it. And what you'll find is that the gameplay is pretty good. The story's nowhere near the original trilogy, but it's still a fairly good game. And for $3 and change, I still think it's a worthwhile game to go through. And I think a lot of you guys will be pleasantly surprised by it. So I would give that a recommendation. Next up, want to mention a couple of the Tales of titles. Tales of Symphonia is $4.99, and then Tales of Zestria is $4.99. With Tales of Symphonia, this game is a little bit dated given that it is initially a GameCube title, so, you know, kind of archaic in a lot of instances, but Symphonia for a lot of people is the best Tales of game of all time. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely wasn't as crazy about it, but I still thought it was quite a good JRPG. And Zestria, even though it's one of the weaker Tales of titles, many would argue it is the weakest, I still think Tales of Zestria is a pretty solid game. And what I often say about the Tales of games is that it's one of the most consistent game franchises on the planet, in that not every game is blow away. Actually, very few of the games I would say are blow away amazing, but they are all good to very good games each time out. And I still thought Zestria was a pretty good game that's worthwhile to go through. Would I say it should be your first Tales of title? Probably not. I would look at a Vesperia. I would even look at an Arise over Zestria, but you know, for $4.99, if you're a JRPG buff, I still think it's worthwhile to play. Then we've got Darksiders Genesis, 85% off for $4.49. Pretty interesting title, being a first look at the world of Darksiders and a game that is totally different than the main three titles. But if you want an action title, you know, a hack and slash action title, I think Darksiders Genesis is something that you'll enjoy. Right through waves and waves of enemies, and it is still over the top action, but in a totally different style than the main Darksiders title. But for $4.49, a pretty good pickup, and done by Airship Syndicate, a very underrated studio there, so check that out. Speaking of action, over the top action will be had in My Friend Pedro. It's 80% off for $3.99. A violent ballet about friendship, imagination, and one man's struggle to obliterate anyone in his path at the behest of a sentient banana. Overwhelmingly positive reception, 11,000 reviews, 95% positive. A fairly short game, but here you're buying it for $3.99, so I think that's fine. A couple hours of over-the-top action, sometimes that's exactly what you need, and at $3.99, not a bad pickup there. Next up, speaking of over-the-top action, once again, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition is 80% off for $3.99. I played Red Faction Guerrilla when it initially came out on PS3 in June of 2009, and I love the game. I thought it was a great open-world title that was so much fun, and if you want to talk about that pure fun factor in video games, man, Red Faction Guerrilla brings that and then some. Running around and just breaking and destroying things with a sledgehammer, it does not get old, and you cannot, you know, as far as fun goes, you cannot script out anything better than running around and destroying things with a sledgehammer. Obviously, there's a lot of explosions to be had. The destructibility in the game is crazy, and it's a lot of fun. As far as open world games go, obviously, it's not at the level of modern open world games, but still an enjoyable game. I think for $3.99, it's a great pickup, and I would definitely recommend it. Then we've got couple Final Fantasy games. Gotta mention Final Fantasy VII in my pantheon of the greatest games of all time as well. This is, of course, the original, but as most people know, the original game is still very much worthwhile to play, even with the remake trilogy coming out. The OG offers a different look, and if you played the remake trilogy, or you're playing them, I should say, Remake and Rebirth, I still think would be compelling to go back and play the original. Yes, it's a PS1 era title, so visually it's not at that level, but I still think it's a fantastic game, and a game that I'll go back to every now and again and do another playthrough of. But $4.79 on that, I think, is a great deal. And then Final Fantasy VIII is 60% off for $4.79. For a lot of people, this is kind of a black sheep in the Final Fantasy series. It came out a year after Final Fantasy VII. They were pumping out these Final Fantasy games left and right back in the day in the late 90s and early 2000s. But FF8, I still enjoyed it. Obviously, you know, I didn't play FF8 when it initially came out. It's a game that I went back and played, but I still had a pretty good time with it. Narratively, I wasn't crazy about it, and, you know, I get what they were going for. It's a little interesting in that regard, and thematically is pretty unique. But I don't think they stuck the landing overall with the story of the game. I know a lot of people that absolutely love Final Fantasy VIII, but for 479, it's still very much a worthwhile game to play through. Manifold Garden, for you guys looking for a puzzle game, rediscover gravity and explore an Escher-esque world of impossible architecture, witness infinity in first person and master its rules to solve physics-defying puzzles, cultivate a garden to open new paths forward where an eternal expanse awaits. 4,300 reviews, 95% positive there. And again, $4.99 for Manifold Garden if you're looking for a puzzle game, something to check out there. Next up, if you're looking for an arcade racer, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed Collection is $4.99. I know Sonic Racing Crossworlds is out at this point. However, Sonic Racing Crossworlds goes for $35 for the base game. Then you got to pay more for the DLC. It's still a pricey game. If you want a Sonic Racing game on the cheap, $4.99 for the Racing Transformed Collection, I think is quite good. Sonic and the All-Stars cast line up on the starting grid once again to battle for supremacy. Play as over 20 legendary All-Stars, each with their own transforming vehicle, race across 25 tracks and arenas, World Tour Grand Prix, battle arenas, and more, and unleash ingenious weapons or utilize your character's unique All-Star move as well. $4.99 for Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed Collection. Next up, another BioWare title, Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition is $3.99. An absolutely fantastic deal on this, given that you get Dragon Age Inquisition and the DLC content. And I would say that Dragon Age Inquisition is probably the last game that most people really enjoyed out of BioWare. I say most because I think some people think that the downslide of BioWare really started with Inquisition. I really liked Inquisition. I vehemently disagree with the thought that Inquisition wasn't that good of a game. I thought it was a really good game, and I thought narratively, visually, it's still quite good. And I gotta go back and play through Inquisition again because it's been a decade and change since this game has come out. But again, I remember really enjoying it, and I think for $3.99, you'll have a pretty good time with that. Then we've got Hyper Light Drifter, 75% off for $4.99 at a historic low price point. Man, Hyper Light Drifter is such a great throwback to the older Legend of Zelda titles, a great visual aesthetic with pixel graphics. I know the pixel graphics aesthetic is done to death, but for the style of game that Hyper Light Drifter is, it totally works. And this game came out a decade ago at this point, so at that point, it's not like this visual aesthetic was being spammed left and right, but overall, quite a good game, and I would definitely recommend it at $4.99. Then we've got Heavenly Bodies, another puzzle title, 75% off for $4.99. More of a physics puzzle game. Wrangle the hands and arms of a 1970s space cosmonaut and push, pull, and twist your way through an increasingly precarious range of physically stimulated stellar scenarios where without gravity, nothing is still, nothing is secure, and nothing is simple. Overwhelmingly positive reception on this, 2,200 reviews, 96% positive and 84 on Metacritic as well. Pretty cool visual aesthetic, and again, a very well-received game, a collection of stellar scenarios, expressively control every limb, play single player or with a friend via local co-op. You can play online with Steam Remote Play together, and stylized 70s visual aesthetic as well. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, a lot of early Steam Summer Sale game deals under the price of $5. Links to all of these deals will be in the description box below, and stay on lock for all of our coverage for the Steam Summer Sale. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Under $10 early Steam Summer Sale game deals. Let's just get right into it. Off the bat, Dead Space Remake is 90% off for $5.99. This is going to be one of the deep discounts as a part of the summer sale, and it is an absolutely insane deal. I cannot glaze this deal enough. You know, when a lot of the times there is this notion that these Steam sales are the same things over and over again, and yes, a lot of the times they are, but there are deals that really stand out among from the pack. Dead Space Remake 90% off for $5.99 is absolutely one of those deals. This is an exceptional remake, and it is a great game. I played Dead Space back in 2008 when it initially came out. It was great back then, and guess what? The Motive Studios remake is great once again. It's unfortunate that these games just don't do at the commercial level that EA wants them to do. I don't know what that level is, but obviously it's more than they sell. These games are fantastic. The ambiance, the atmosphere, the action gameplay, it is so well done, and the visuals are great as well. There were some technical issues at the launch of this game, but seems to be, for most people, that has been remedied. When I played this on PC, I had a super smooth experience, and, I'm playing every game under the sun pretty much that comes out, and I go through my fair share of lukewarm PC versions. So, Dead Space was one that I would actually rank on the higher end as far as the games I've experienced on PC, as far as optimization went. But yeah, 5.99 on this is fantastic. Highly recommended. Just a great game, and can't say enough good things about it. Unfortunately, again, Dead Space probably hitting the bench for a while. I don't know if it's ever coming back, but yeah, $6 on that is just highway robbery. You know, this is one of those deals that, again, it's like, whoa, dude, this is why you have deals like this, and I'm sure this deal is gonna sell a million copies. Might be a stretch, but it's gonna do very well during the summer sale. So shout out to that. Then we've got Dave the Diver, 50% off for $9.99. This is a brand new historic low deal on this. A casual single-player adventure RPG featuring deep-sea exploration and fishing during the day, and sushi restaurant management as well at night. Join Dave and his quirky friends as they seek to uncover the secrets of the mysterious blue hole. This game came out gangbusters in 2023. Overwhelmingly positive reception, 96% positive, a 90 on Metacritic as well. An adventure RPG management hybrid. Explore and unravel the mysteries in the depths of the blue hole by day, and run a successful exotic sushi restaurant by night. Casual combat and gathering gameplay with roguelike elements as well. Eccentric characters with a light-hearted narrative. A beautiful sea environment with attractive 2D and 3D art. A 90 on Metacritic, like I said, $9.99. Check that out, Dave the Diver. Then, if you're looking for a co-op title, it doesn't get much better than Deep Rock Galactic, 70% off for $8.99. An incredibly addicting co-op FPS featuring dwarven space miners, procedurally generated destructible environments, and endless hordes of alien monsters. Explore cave systems, mine for minerals, and work together to survive. Work together or die. Award-winning co-op gameplay puts 1 to 4 players together to explore labyrinth procedurally generated cave systems, extract valuable minerals, and fight for their lives against alien hordes. Scout, gunner, engineer, and driller as 4 unique classes. Each class bring their own strengths to the team. Use your toolkits in tandem and work together to bring your whole crew home safe. Infinite destructible caves as well. Hordes of alien horrors. Promote, upgrade, and repeat, and work hard and play hard. Deep Rock Galactic is available for $8.99. Bear in mind that there's a lot of bonus content. If you want the Dwarven Legacy bundle, you know, it's $52. A little bit hefty there, but yeah, $8.99 for the base game. Then, if you're looking for a throwback pixel graphics beat-em-up, TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a great option, 60% off for $9.99. If you're a fan of TMNT, this is going to be great, and if you're just a fan of quality beat-em-ups, I think this is going to be great for you as well. Overwhelmingly positive reception on this, 5,888 reviews, 96% positive, and it is a classic beat 'em up in the TMNT style. Turtle Boys don't cut Shredder, no slack, turtle power, and a variety of different features. A gnarly game design taking you back to the 80s, beautiful full color pixel art graphics, old school gameplay enhanced with super fresh mechanics, up to 6 players simultaneously play with iconic TMNT characters and vehicles in diverse gameplay options, and a radical new story mode as well. 60% off for $9.99 for TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Then we have Mark of the Ninja Remastered, 70% off for $5.99. An awesome action stealth title. Overwhelmingly positive reception on this, 2,600 reviews, 96% positive. This came out as a 360 downloadable arcade title, and Mark of the Ninja, alongside the Shadow Complexes of the world and the Braids of the world and the Limbos, I feel like was one of those earlier, smaller scale downloadable titles that really set the tempo on how good these games could be. It's a great action stealth title with an art style that is aged very gracefully, updated of course with the remastered version, but just a slick action stealth title. $5.99 on this, just a great pickup, highly recommend that. Then, speaking of games with a slick presentation style of a totally different style and ambiance, Ender Lilies Quietus of the Night, 60% off for $9.99. A dark fantasy 2D action RPG about unraveling the mysteries of a destroyed kingdom. On this sorrowful journey, encounter horrific enemies against whom a moment of inattention could be fatal. Overcome these hardships and seek the truth with the help of fallen knights. Very much a Metroidvania dark fantasy title, 11,000 reviews, 94% positive, just shy of overwhelmingly positive. And if you're into Metroidvania, something to be on the lookout for. $9.99 for Ender Lilies Quietus of the Night. Then we've got Dungeons of Hinterberg, 70% off for $6.89. A great setting in this one. Discover the magic and lore of the Alps in this acclaimed action-adventure. Forge relationships with locals to help you solve puzzles, battle monsters, and uncover secrets of the legendary Dungeons of Hinterberg. 1,400 reviews, 94% positive. Great art style and a variety of gameplay options there. Dungeons of Hinterberg is available for $6.89. Then we've got Blasphemous 2, which, by the way, just had a free expansion come out, Third Sin, 75% off for $7.49. The Pentium one awakens as Blasphemous 2 joins him once again in an endless struggle against the miracle. Dive into a perilous new world filled with mysteries and secrets to discover, and tear your way through monstrous foes that stand between you and your quest to end the cycle once and for all. 5,300 reviews on this one, 90% positive and 83 on Metacritic. Again, if you're in a challenging action Metroidvania, something to check out here with Blasphemous 2, especially with the new additional content. Then we've got Scarlet Nexus, 84% off for $9.59, a JRPG that I personally really love. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Far from it. It has a lot of issues, particularly the narrative is kind of all over the place and pretty disjointed at times. I really did like the characters, however. The soundtrack is awesome, and the gameplay is really enjoyable as well. In the art direction, the anime aesthetic, that's always going to be up my alley. Look, if you're a fan of JRPGs, I think a lot of you guys will end up really enjoying your time with Scarlet Nexus. And you've got two playable main characters, Yuito and Kasane, making it worthwhile to go through the game twice. If you just want to beat it once, that's fine as well, and you'll get, a solid 25 to 30 hour experience. It's actually fairly short for a single playthrough, but yeah, $9.59 for the base game. During the summer sale, I imagine the Ultimate Edition will go on sale, so if you want to get all the content with it, you might want to wait for that. Just something to be mindful of. Tales of Vesperia, 80% off for $9.99, another great JRPG from Bandai Namco. Tales of Vesperia is a really, really solid JRPG that if you're looking to get into the Tales of series, Vesperia is one of the games that I usually recommend. It's got just a fantastic main character. Yuri is one of the most likable main characters I've ever played as in a JRPG. Definitely has some dated elements to it, but overall still a great JRPG with a solid cast of characters, even though Yuri does hard carry the cast. The overall narrative, it's a pretty serviceable save-the-world JRPG story. Like, it's fine, and a great soundtrack here as well. Tales of Vesperia, $9.99 on that. Then we've got Weird West Definitive Edition, 85% off for $5.99. I personally really dug this game. I like the setting. Westerns are always going to be up my alley, and what I like more than anything about this game is how consequential the decision making is. Yes, decision making is a focus of a lot of games, but it's about having consequences to your decision that actually makes it worthwhile. And I feel like Weird West struck a balance of that and making it so the game actually differs your playthrough based on the decisions you make, not only from a narrative standpoint, but also from a gameplay standpoint. The choices you make as far as tackling the gameplay have consequential outcomes as well. I thought it was very unique in that regard. $5.99 for Weird West. I would recommend it at this price point. And then lastly, I gotta glaze Final Fantasy a little bit. Final Fantasy 13 is 60% off for $6.39. Final Fantasy 9 is on sale as well for $6.39. I wasn't crazy about FF9, which is so crazy. I'm literally out here glazing Final Fantasy 13 and then in the same breath saying that Final Fantasy 9 wasn't up my alley. People would actually want to take me to the gallows for that. With FF13, it absolutely does have some issues with its PC version, so keep that in mind. The game was serviceable for me. I've completed Final Fantasy 13 like 3 times on PC. I can get through the game. However, I've had my fair share of issues, and sometimes you just have to tinker around with some things, so keep that in mind. It would be great if Square Enix just re-released the games and, optimized it, but we can't have nice things. But I loved FF13. Yes, it's super linear. Well, yeah, but you gotta deal with it, and the battle system is great. The story's okay. Kind of all over the place as well, but Lightning's a badass, so she hard carries the story and the, engagement throughout the game, and I loved the paradigm system in the game as well. I really enjoyed FF13. Great soundtrack, of course, $6.39 on that. And like I said, Final Fantasy 9, $6.29 for that. Not $6.39, $29 for Final Fantasy 9. Just never got into FF9. People love it. It's widely considered to be one of, if not the best Final Fantasy game of all time. Play it, don't take my opinion for it, and I'll certainly go back at some point and give this another playthrough. But yeah, $6.29 on that. But that is going to do it for me. Again, that Dead Space remake deal is absolutely outstanding. That is by far the standout deal in the sale thus far, but there's going to be other ones. Check out the Ghostwire Tokyo's deal when that goes live on Thursday, because that's going to be a great deep discount offer as well. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.